Welcome to the webinar, guys. This is Cam Scott. Really excited to be investing the next 20 minutes or so with you, and we're going to be talking sales. Well, sales and marketing, and specifically how we can help people before we sell to them, because that and that alone is what's going to attract you business as we head into this new normal. So what gives me the right to sit here and say all this stuff to you? Well, I haven't read this in a book and I haven't searched it online. What I'm going to share with you are tangible strategies that all of our coaches are using up and down the UK to help them grow and to help their clients grow as well. So we've actually witnessed a personal best month in terms of sales conversions. So everything I'm about to share with you is happening right now as we speak. So please sit back, make sure that you're relaxed. I hope you've got a warm brown, plenty of pen and paper. Let's get stuck in. Okay guys, so let's start with what not to do. Now, anybody that knows me personally will know that I'm fairly positive and enthusiastic, so let's get the negative out of the way nice and early. So what do most people do right now? Well, most people are acutely aware of three things, especially if you speak to your accountant. We're aware of how many customers we've got, how much revenue we've got, and how much profit's left at the end of the day. Now, the challenge is if we sell on the purpose of needing more profit, well, that's our agenda. That's all about us, and that is going to come across in your communication with your prospects. Think about the people that have tried to sell to you because they needed to sell. They stick out like a sore thumb. So the most important thing to understand is that marketing and sales is always about your prospects, it's always about your customers, and it's always personable. Nobody ever buys your products and services. They buy the after effects that your products and services provide. So let's press on and have a look at what are the steps we can go through to help you sell more often in this difficult time. Let's have a think. First thing is, just take 30 seconds. If you want to shut your eyes, great. If you're visual, you might want to look around the room and pick up some visual cues. Think about your perfect client. One of the first things that we do with all of our clientele is think about your perfect client's avatar. So what sort of things will make that up? So let's have a think age. Okay, is there a specific age range that you service? Is it a gender? So is there a specific gender that you service? Is it looking at location? So have we got a locally based product or service that we provide? Or do we solve a specific challenge? Is there a problem that doesn't have a target market per se in terms of personality, but there's a certain problem that we're designed to eradicate from our users' lives? So the first thing that we've got to do is get really clear on who you want to sell it to. Because unless we've got that, it's a little bit like just getting in your car and driving to a destination without a sat-nav. Well, how do you know where you're going? How do you know when you're going to get there? How do you know when to put more fuel in the tank? You know, it leaves us very much at risk. I appreciate that some of you out there will be thinking, Cam, I'll just take money from anybody right now. And there's probably a cause for that right now. However, if you want sustainable marketing for long-term success and winning the right customers for you, the first thing we've got to do is start with the end in mind. Jim Rohn said it best. If we think about where we want to be, we can then backwards engineer all the other steps to be able to reach those people effectively. Great, so we've got our perfect client. We've got the avatar built out. We know where they're based. We know what they look like. We know their age range or whatever it is that you want to target. The next thing we've got to figure out is why should they buy from us? So important. Understand that, okay, they should buy from you because you want the profit. I get that. But remember what we said earlier. It's really important that we help these people. So the next thing to understand is how do we help them? How does our product and service help these people, whether it's a product, whether it's a service we provide, or whether it's just our knowledge of the sector? How can we help that avatar that we've just mapped out together? What are the key things that they need to know that's going to add value to their business life, their personal life? It's going to make things easier for them. Whatever product and service it is that you sell, how does that help that avatar that you've just created? Once we've done that, what we've got to look at is, great, now we know how to help them. How do we communicate that? Okay? And please understand this. If you've never heard this phrase before, this is a writer-downer. Communication is the response that you get. That's how we judge true communication. So if your response is, I don't get very many leads coming through the business, let's have a look at what we're communicating, because the chances are that it's something that we're communicating or not communicating that's impacting that result. So far, just to recap, we've got our perfect client. We know who they are, we know where they move. We understand how our product and service can help them. or if our knowledge base can help them. Now we understand how we can communicate that with them. So just take a couple of seconds and write down, how can you communicate with your clients or prospective clients right now? Is it email? Is it social media? Is it one of these where the old way is the good way? Do we send them a personal letter, a handwritten letter through the post? You know, now is the time to start really farming all of those crazy ideas that you've had over the last 4 months. As long as it's a person-to-person interaction, you're never going to go far wrong. People have always bought and will always buy from other people. But I'd like to caveat that today. People buy from people who want to help them and take an interest in them. So understand how we can help them and then communicate it. That's what we're going to do next. And then once we've figured out that, the next part is really easy. How often do we communicate with them? So most of you are probably thinking, oh, this is great, Cam. I've already got a client CRM. I already know who my ideal customer is, and we already send them an email once a quarter. Great, send them an email once a month. If we're helping people, you cannot over-communicate a great thing. Let's make it about something that's completely unrelated so it's easier to internalize. If I'm going to give you a lottery ticket, and it's a winning lottery ticket, would you want to know about that every week? You're not going to get annoyed every week that somebody's giving you a winning lottery ticket. You're going to shout from the rooftops about them. And that's where we want to be. If the amount of times that you communicate with your clients on a monthly, weekly basis looks like a donut, you're missing the trick. Okay, we've really got to communicate with these people as often as possible. Okay, so that's the next thing that we do, is communicate and communicate often. We've got the client. We know how to help them, we're communicating with them, and we're communicating regularly. The next thing is find a reason to turn it into a sales conversation. So everything that we've done so far is not focused around sales. It's marketing, it's adding value, it's helping. For anybody that wants a great read on that, Jab, Jab, Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk is probably the best book in the world on social selling. And it's based on the concept that jab, jab, jab is a value add. So these are value-added touch points that we're putting in place. And then the right hook is the sales conversation. Now, you probably think that's all well and good, Cam. I'm great at adding value. But how do I take it from a value-added jab to the right hook sales conversation? I like to call this the spark. Okay, so we've got to find the spark. And what I mean by the spark is a reason to get in touch. It can't be customers, revenue, and profit. It's got to be about the help that we provide. So let me just give you an example of how this works in the real world. Let's say we're at BNI or one of the other great networking institutions out there. Let's say that you're at one of those and somebody stands up in their 60 seconds and they give us a nice little monologue and they tell us that they're specifically struggling with one area of business. Let's say it's cash flow. Later on that day, they get a personal LinkedIn message from you, the accountant, saying, "Hey, Andrew, I couldn't help but think about you after the 60 seconds that you gave at BNI this morning. And I just thought I'd share this great cash flow forecasting sheet with you. See if this helps you." Nothing else to say. Okay, that's a great jab. Saw this and thought of you. Now, Andrew's going to come back and say, "Thank you for that." And I'm going to say, "Great, you're more than welcome. How did you find it useful?" I want Andrew to tell me the use he's got out of that. Because then he's going to solidify all the reasons and all the ways that I've helped him by sending him that material. Once he's told me that, going towards a sales conversation makes sense. It's the next natural thing to do to help him. Because Andrew's going to say, "Well, Cam, you've actually helped me get clear on my profit and loss. You've helped me get clear on my balance sheets. This has really, really helped." And I'm going to say, "Do you know what, Andrew? I think it might be worth us having a conversation because I think I can really help you." Simple as that. I'm not being one of these people that sends messages on LinkedIn, which is the equivalent to having a dating profile picture in a wedding dress, which is, "Hey, I'm Cam, buy my stuff." No, we want to help people. One top tip, if you're not going to change anything from watching this webinar, one thing I would change is put the word help into your sales close. Put that word in. And just see what happens. It really is amazing. So find the spark, find a reason to get in touch and let them know that they're going to benefit from that. Nobody wants a coach. Everybody wants results. Nobody wants a lamp. Everybody wants the light. So talk about the after effects of the product or service that you provide. Anybody looking for a great book on that, I would suggest either Top Dog Jelly Effect by Andy Bounds. Really, really good. He calls it afters. Really, really great technique. Now we're at a point where we're in the sales conversation. They're happy we're helping them. They've had some great value-added touch points from us. We know why and how we've helped them. So the next thing is to finally make the sale. We're at that point, the amazing point where we actually make the sale. Now, what I'm about to say is a little bit different to how most people see this, but I think it's so true. Most people would say the customer is always right. If they ask for a Big Mac, I'm going to give them a Big Mac. Okay, well, in certain areas, that's true. For me, true sales and helping your clients buy the right thing is a little bit different. There's two sides to this. The first side is we've got to understand what your client wants, what your prospect wants. So important. And we've already done a lot of that throughout the process that we've spoken about today. We understand what they want. We understand the help that they need. So that box is ticked. We've got to understand what they want. But here's the kicker. Then we've got to provide them what they need, which is often different to what they want. You think about the last thing that you bought that you really, really wanted. I'm minded to share a story of my partner. So my partner, Heather, she got her first job when she was 16, and she saved up her first month's paycheck so that she could go and she could buy these Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses. Okay, so she went to the Sunglasses Hut in Meadowhall, which is the local shopping centre. And she walked in, she tried on these glasses that she'd had a picture of them for weeks. She really, really wanted these glasses, tried them on, and they covered about 4/5 of her face. So she quickly realised what she wanted wasn't what she needed. So the person at the Sunglasses Hut came over to her and said, "Hey, can I help you? What is it you're looking for?" Heather was really upset because she'd wanted these sunglasses all this time and it felt like her dreams had been smashed. But the salesperson at the Sunglasses Hut just said, "Look, looking at the shape of your face, I think these would be a really good fit for you. Try them on, let me know what you think, and if I can add any more value, if I can help out, give me a shout." Heather walked out of that Sunglasses Hut feeling like £1 million. Not just because she'd got some glasses that looked great on her face, but she'd learned something from their knowledge. Okay, she'd learned that every pair of glasses she wanted to buy moving forward, they had to be a certain shape so that they could fit her head. How many people do you think my partner's told about the Sunglasses Hut at Meadowhall? And Jake specifically that works there? Quite a few. Now, what are you doing to provide that level of care to your customers? Okay, so understand what your customers want, then provide them what they need. Now, most people would see that as, okay, great, sale done, on to the next one. And I agree to a certain degree. However, we often miss a trick in sales and marketing. Because let's think about it. Who are the best people to buy from you? Well, Cam, our client avatar that we set out earlier. Exactly. And who are the best people at attracting more people like our client avatar, do we think? Probably the client avatars. Okay, because if you think about your friendship groups, you hang around with people like you, similar interests, similar values. So the next thing we need to do is after the sale is completed that we really start to create a relationship. So what I would do is I'd start to do little things like put loyalty schemes in place, get people coming back more often, share a great story. For anybody that is active on LinkedIn or YouTube right now, go into your search bar and put ActionCOACH lockdown interview. You'll find between 20 and 100 videos that all of our coaches have released sharing great news stories from their clients and how we've helped them. And guess what? When somebody sees that who's got a similar challenge, it sparks that interest in them and makes them want to speak with us because there's social proof. The best people to do the marketing for you are the people who are buying from you and getting value right now. So the last step is share a great story. Whether it's a press release, whether it's on the radio, whether it's a face-to-face interview, whether it's a Zoom interview, whether it's a webinar, whatever it is, share the good news. You cannot over-communicate a positive. So important. So just to recap, what have we gone through? Okay, stop selling, start helping. So important. Understand what not to do. Customers, revenue, and profit, that's our agenda. Customers don't care. Once we know that, who's our ideal client? What do they look like? Where do they move? What sort of social groups do they communicate in? Once we get that, how can we help them? Is it that we eradicate a problem? Is it that we've got knowledge that they would benefit from? Have we got a great service? Have we got a product? Okay. Then once we know that, how can we communicate with them? What is the best form of communication? Then secondly, how often? How often should we communicate with them? Find the spark, find a reason to get in touch. The one that I found works really well is saw this and thought of you, because it's a very human thing to do. Once we've done that, understand what they want, provide them what they need, and share the great story of how you've helped them. So I'm sure that that's been useful for you guys. Plenty of tips in there to get stuck into. So look, if nothing else, the next action point, we're called Action Coach, not sit on your hands or let's get round to it, coach. So the action point I implore all of you to take right now. Look at your marketing. Look at your sales conversations. Look at your best salespeople. What are they doing? And I guarantee it's some of the stuff that we've listed today. So go back, review, have a think about the changes that you want to make. Also, one last thing to mention. I get that a few of you may have come here for different reasons. So some of you will be business owners looking at how we can sell more in the new normal. Some of you will be people looking for an opportunity. So looking for your next business. And some people will be here just because they were surfing the internet, and I'm glad to have you here. So thanks for joining and clicking on. So look, for the guys that, if you're a business owner and you're thinking, how could you help me? You know, how can I bust through this? Let's have a conversation. You know, you'll see the details on screen. Get in touch with myself or a member of the team. We'll put you in touch with a coach local to yourself, and they'll be able to help you achieve the goals over the next 12, 18 months that you otherwise didn't think you'd be able to get. Also, we're that confident in it that we guarantee a return on investment to all of our clients. I'm not going to bore you to death with that right now. What I want you to know is that everything I've just delivered is with integrity. We will not work with you unless we can help you. It's got to be a win-win or no deal. So look, if that sounds like you and you want some more information, great. Click on one of the links or email the email address that you can see on screen and we'll make that happen for you. If you have any questions over and above what we've discussed here, because I get it's fairly generalistic, you probably sat there with the question, how does this work in my business? If that's you, get in touch. I'll answer any question that you've got for me. But take it easy, make it easy, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.